Whoa, JD, rocking it. Pardon me, sorry. Okay, it is August 23rd, 2017, 12:16 p.m. We are going to kill off a midday before 1 o'clock, and then on today's scheduling I have 2 o'clock to maybe 3 before they come and take me away. I have to go to a lawyer's office and sign my life away at 3:30. I was going to write something down. Oh yeah, Masterclass 13 was this morning. So this is Masterclass 14. No, this isn't Masterclass 14. Masterclass 14 is at 2 o'clock. This is midday review. That's what I was going to write down. 2 o'clock to 2:45 is Masterclass 14 on August 23rd. Tracy's having pizza for breakfast. I stopped eating anything processed when I moved here 70 days ago. Colombia's next, then Panama, then Spain. Announcements. Oil. Epic. Well, if you missed this, you missed quite a show. These targets for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday are actually support and resistance markers. Got right up, stalled, got into, as soon as it got into the target, boom, like it was, in a nanosecond. So machines kicked in there. Then of course they got up to this resistance, worked their way over to this resistance through it, and now they're fighting the resistance of the actual target. Just total chart porn. Doesn't get better than that. And for those folks watching this, I just got to say it. Some of the most successful money managers Earth has ever seen use this. It's pretty cool accomplishment. I knew the day that I figured this math out. I looked at people and told them that I had figured out the math on this, and everybody, except for one person, no, 2, 3, well, 2 for sure, maybe 3. Everybody in my sphere of influence, I know they didn't believe it. After 30 years in business and entrepreneurial endeavors, 3 people believed it, possibly 2. Awesome. Okay, announcements. Announcements are, we're winning. That's good. Our room is very disciplined. That's even better. Like I said, Masterclass 13 was this morning at market open. So that'll be Masterclass 14 is this afternoon from 2 to 2:45. And then we have at least 5 left after that, if not another 5, which would make 10. There's how good my math is. Ask me what day of the week it is, what year it is, or age is. I have a difficult time, but Epic worked out just great. Midday announcements. We're winning. We know about the master classes. There's a price increase at the end of the month. Our members are godfathered and grandfathered without price increase, but the rest of the planet suffers the consequences of not believing me either. And, you know, speaking of believing, I'll just tell you real quick what this is going to look like. See, this right here is a two-dimensional drawing of mathematics, right? And the guts of this were built on Fibonacci on steroids, right? PhD Fibonacci, but then there are, you know, other 52 indicators, 60 months on 13 different time frames. But what's really cool about this, and this is where it goes into the future, is black box in here. And that targets black box. There's a few other black box things in here. That yellow line is black box. And look at how oil came down, boom, off it goes. What else is black box in here? There's other things on here that are black box. I gotta remember. Good golly, Miss Molly, I forget, and that's really important. I built it. It works. And I can't remember. But anyway, oh yeah, where I was going was the trader's dashboard that we're going to build on this and all the other algorithms. See, if you could see this like I see it, you would actually take that, and instead of your chart being vertical, your screen being vertical, you would turn it away from you. And if you could see it as your chart horizontal in 4D, not in 3D. So in other words, if you can take it from a two-dimensional vertical chart and you can tip your monitor back on its back and you look at it from the top down, you'll see Epic's chart in 3 dimensions. And if you took these quadrants and you pulled up on this area right here, and that was a peak so that it slid down to the sides here, you get the idea of what's going on here. And the 4th dimension of the charting is the fact that it's black box. Well, the 4th dimension of the charting represents the fact that it's living people on a living market, trading a living organic, right? So it's Fibonacci on acid, forget steroids. But where it's going to go in the future is that this is all going to be on a digital dashboard. But more than just a digital dashboard is we're taking things like from masterclass training 13, which is my favorite number, that happened today in AMD, and everything that was involved with charting that on the fly, like McFly. That is going to be digitally dashboard. So AMD, the way that AMD kind of unfolded this morning, so imagine the way that AMD unfolded and that trade unfolded and all those decisions and how I charted that on the fly. Add that to, so dimensional AMD, two-dimensional AMD, add that, but go 4-dimensional on Epic's charting and the other algorithmic model charting, and think of it from top down. You could even just go 3-dimensional. Think of it how you would look at that chart if it was 3-dimensional. That's our trader's dashboard. And when people get a glimpse of what this is going to be like, they're going to be like, holy shit. Now I see why $12 million investment. Now imagine looking down on it 3D This chart's actually 3D with little mountains all over it and, you know, crevices, and actually being able to be in it. Now you might be getting an idea of what our vision is. See, this model was modeled based on the vision I just gave you. Greg's getting it. See, this model is traded, oil is traded not on a two-dimensional chart. All of the models now that the biggest are using are traded on a three-dimensional platform, not two-dimensional. So when you really get it, when you really see what this model is, and you see what we want to do with it, and where we're going with it, and hey, I got to remind, you know, those people that sit in the corner and scoff at me like they did. Yeah, it's the date today, August 23rd. I could go back on my Instagram and look at some of my posts and probably figure out exactly when I figured out this math last year. But we're probably 16 months in. I don't know if those folks remember sitting back scoffing in the corner when I said I had figured it out. But just like those folks sitting in the corner scoffing in the corner, like they did back then, the ones that are doing it now while they watch the video, just so you know, we have done exactly what we said we were going to do right from day one. Right from that moment, call it 16 months ago, we figured out that math. I said exactly what I was going to do all the way along, exactly what I said I would do. And I'm telling you right now that that same model we can put into hundreds of these equities, currencies, commodities, blah, 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 blah. Sure, some of the low floats and crap we can't do it with. That's where it's going. So you're not going to look at a two-dimensional chart. You're not going to look at a three-dimensional chart. You're going to be in it. That cavern or up that mountain and down it. And you're going to know. You're going to have indicators nobody's going to have. Nobody. Now, you know, we're not the only ones doing it, right? I just discovered how they're doing it. I figured it out. Hopefully retail can afford it. Like, that's the whole problem if you look at our, what else is on the list? Oh yeah, there are price increases on October 1, November 1, December 1, January 1, and every month forward until the end of time. 30% a month, platform wide. And yes, if somebody gets our S&P algorithm, whatever it is a month, less than a cost of coffee, if I'm alive and I'm involved and they haven't, you know, or, you know, I'm not hiding in some jungle somewhere, you know, say the algorithm cost us $29 a month and say in the future it's $29,000 a month, that member pays $29 a month forever, as long as they don't lapse. Okay, I think I killed my announcements properly. Yes, I did. Okay, those are my announcements. Now, as far as the actual markets are concerned, this morning we were trading AMD. What else did we trade here? Corey is winning like mad. The guy doesn't stop winning. Where is Corey? AMMJ. What a setup. What a setup. Now, here's one more announcement. This is going to be one of the most important announcements you're ever going to hear me say. And I don't know if you noticed, but the most important one, I never did publish that video. It never even got to email. Nobody got a copy of it. This is the second most important. The second most important thing is when I post on Twitter or I post on social media, or I'm doing anything out there, your support of that and my support of yours, in other words, you sharing, that reciprocal support directly affects how fast, how quick, how good, how everything about what I just explained to you as a vision, how fast it happens, whether or not retail can afford it, whether or not, blah, 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 everything that's good about it. Because if you support what I'm doing publicly, then other people, like-minded people, because nobody's going to believe me, they believe you. Then other like-minded people, but if you want to be responsible for somebody paying $29,000 a month for an algorithm instead of $29, that's not on my hands, because I just said it. I think you get the point. Now, if you post something and you want me to share it, then tag me in it, right? So I know that you've posted it, because I can't get everybody on my feeds and stuff. I don't know. It's impossible. There's no time. I have no time. I have zero time for anything. I can't even sleep. Really important. Social media, really important, guys. We picked up one of the largest clients we could get in the world ever in the history of the planet off of social media. I'm not joking. So if you could do that for me, that would be fantastic, because it doesn't just help you, it helps those yet to come. There are always going to be retail traders that have dreams, that want to get out of the slavery that they're in, and they want to be free. And those people deserve this. And if you help me do it, then we can help people that are otherwise not going to have a chance. Because when the full move is over and these algorithms are done, the person that has that dream, that works their ass off with 5 kids as a single mom, when this comes full cycle, she's not going to be able to afford this. You get behind it in every way that you possibly can. You haven't done it for me, and you haven't done it for them. You don't have to do it for me. I'm a skilled trader. Nobody has to do anything to help me. You're actually partaking in some awesome karma. And then when you die and you have your head on your pillow, you can look back and say, I was part of that. Because if we don't do it, I don't see anybody else doing it. Now, if some other people take up the cause and democratize it, it's one thing to be smart. It's another thing to be able to model this stuff. It's a whole other thing, a whole different thing to be as crazy as I am. Put it on video. Everything that you do. Get the confidence of the world's money and get them behind what's going on when they know that you, if you succeed, potentially put them out of business. That's a whole other can of worms. And in my humble, modest amount of experience in life, I haven't seen too many people crazy enough to do that. Cool, cool. Okay, let's get into the charts. Natural gas. Chris, fantastic chart. Just under resistance. If somebody wants to take up the cause, they could do the 60-minute chart for him or get involved with him. That's between you and Chris. But this is working. Natural gas just under resistance. What resistance is that? That's the mid quad. Right there, that line. Gets up over the mid quad, gets out of the wall of this quad and into this one, and it's going to chase. Not that it'll hit, but it will chase like this one did. See? Got out of the quad wall. It was chasing about $3, and probably you'd have to put the top of the quad on there. So you just hit clone, and you go like this. Now keep in mind this is a generation 1 model that's not tested. And that was chasing, but failed, which is common on the first attempt. It depends on what you're trading, right? $304.5. That's what it was chasing. See how that happened there? So it gets up over the mid, gets through the quad wall, and it's going to chase 3.045. Awesome model. Way to go. Okay, that's natural gas. Fails the mid, gets down into here. There's your support. 287, fails that. It's going to chase the bottom. That's how these quads work. Gold. There's gold in them there hills. Come on, baby. Let's do this. You can do it. Oh, darn it. We might have a crash on our hands. Oh, look at that. Gold got up under its resistance, nailed its target. By the way, Rosie's algo is going to be so good. Anyway, it's hit its target. That yellow line there, black box. Target's black box. That yellow line especially. This is what you really want to watch. This line right here. So if you're playing gold or anything related, mark that line out on a chart and don't lose it. Gets underneath that line, it's going to be very difficult for gold to get back up. This is a resistance cluster. Gets up over the resistance cluster, she's game over. She's gone for a while. Anyway, you guys know how it chases through the quads. So that's your gold. US dollar. Beginning of the day, I said it was in the inverse apex. Bad. Even tweeted it. Told the world. The world doesn't really pay attention though, because of course they're trading because it feels good. And let's see. Where is it? Where did you go? I thought I told the world. Oh, there it is. US dollar into an inverse apex today. Doesn't look great. Right, there's the inverse apex, and right here we got an inverse apex, and look at what's happened. Bad day. It was really bad at one point. So anyway, 92.55 is possible downside. If it loses it, then it continues down in this quadrant. It's a bullish side of the quadrant right here though. So we'll see. Okay, so that's a dollar. Volatility. Hit resistance here at the 0.5, which would be the mid quad, right? well, you can barely see the quad lines here. There's one there, and there's one there. So this is mid quad. Hit it, bounce, tanked, and we'll see what happens. Interestingly enough, the MACD is still up, but it's curling. You just can't. So that's volatility. The S&P operates on 5 time cycles. Not the easiest car to drive, but it works. You'd have to go back into the videos to kind of review what's happened. But anyway, it bounced off of support this morning. This quad wall right here, it found it as coming off. That's a very light quad wall, but it's got a biggie right there. That's the one you want to watch. If it gets into this quad, it's got a lot of resistance, right? This area here is resistance. It's all intra-resistance, but it's still resistance. But your main resistance is up here. So you can mark 246.40-ish, 45. That's your main resistance. This is a fairly aggressive quad. It's a serious one in terms of its time cycles, so we'll see. September 9th is the completion of a time cycle. I don't even think that's on here. August 31st. Let's take a look. Yeah, so not all the time cycles are in here. That's September 4th, yes, it starts to lose it. I'd have to bring the other model out. Okay, so that's the S&P. So basically you got support in here, and you got resistance up here, and you got this quad here, and it's not easy to trade. You'd have to understand how to trade it Not the easiest car to drive. Okay, so that's the S&P. Then we have oil. We looked at oil, and we have, in terms of a couple of really quick announcements, I still can't get over that. There's no filter on that. Like those sunsets every night, man. AMMJ, totally perfect setup, hey, over the 200. Just hasn't stopped since. Crazy cool setup. And you know, it's coming out of each bowl. It's coming out of this bowl right now. There's another bowl up there, and then Kapauza. That next bowl is going to be the serious one. Epic perfect target hit. Open long 47.72 on oil, closed out 47.88. That was a good win. 16K on the commodities account. I just put 150 bucks. I don't know if it was 130 or 162, but it was around 150 bucks. That's the AMD trade from yesterday and today. Hopefully this doesn't wreck my sound. I'm changing the air conditioning in here. Earnings. I really want to make sure here that we look at FLWS. That earnings coming up. Seadrills is coming up. That's funny. If there's any others you guys want to look at, let me know. Pardon me. Pardon me. Picture of the gold in my basement. I think we went through all this. Okay. Charts. Yeah, charts. So AMD, I might have to trade this here if it gets up over 1255-ish. So I've got the alarm set just so we're aware. And let's look at how our markets, FLWS, I want to look at that real quick. So yeah, when you see these charts in 3D, the models, you'll just be like, now I get it. And you'll be able to trade them. Like if you're trading our models, you'll be able to trade them way better. Like people ask me, like I have private, what do you call it, students, like coaching, and I teach them how to do it. And they're just like, wow, that's a different way to trade. But 97% win rate, who wouldn't? That's not my win rate overall. That's my win rate on oil. Publicly posted too, by the way. My day trading win rate, I think, is 80 something, low 80s. No, my swings, yeah, swings are in the 85s, I think. Day trading in the low 80s, or no, I might have hit the 90s now, low 90s. Anyway, whatever it is. FLWS. This is not the right one I was thinking of. Nope, not interested at all. Where'd that list go? BRL, DLTR, HPQ. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. Something tells me there's one on there I'm supposed to look at, but can't remember. Okay, let's look at the markets quick here before AMD starts firing off on me. Sure be nice if some of the nice setups are coming along here. RGS, ABEO, SSW, XXII. Let's go look at XXII real quick. While we're waiting for that to load. You see? That target might be a little bit off, but these charts, you have to remember, trading these is not perfect. It moves around, so you got to give all the lines a couple cents. Wow. I'll shut off my social. Maybe that'll do it. It's terrible. I could shut off interactive brokers, but well, AMD's a ways away. That's interactive brokers, man. It takes a while to load. It's another place TD's got them beat. But TD can't do so many things that interactive does that we need. And to be honest with you, I haven't even really looked. Like, I'm just trusting the techs on all of it. They're wiring it all together. The investment fund, I have to wire all the accounts together. It's not like a fund where they give me money. It's a fund where all the accounts get wired together. Okay, XXII. Remember when we were first starting the fund and I called it a dark pool, and then the guys challenged me about the definition of a dark pool. Okay, XXII. I really like this chart. So it's bouncing off the 20. Why did we miss this? That's the question. Because we've been in it lots. So here's another part of functioning as a team. We've been in this one. We should have caught this. This one should be screaming from the rooftops in our room right now. Dang it. And I'm not trying to be funny, guys. I'm just trying to be straight, right? So here's how you do this. So this is confirmed as long as it holds the 20 on the daily at close. Yeah, screening. See, I don't on scanning. I don't scan the way most people scan, and I wish I could share it, but I can't. I can't show my scans because I scan the markets, right? So it comes down to social media. But these alarms, right? We should have these alarmed easily. So, like, alarming that, just right click, add alert when price hits the 20. Because the setup, right? The setup is it gets through the 200, comes back, tests your MAs, right? Every time it comes back and tests the MAs, we should know. So, we would have looked at it up here if we went back on that chart and looked at it. We probably looked at it up here. I don't know where we did. And if the alarm is set on the 20, so that we know. And this will give you an idea of the kind of coding that I've instructed our techs to do, right? Because we're going to code algorithms for this very soon, like January. That's simple coding. The simplest form of it's right in TradingView. You can actually code right. You can code right in it, but not the way we want to. But anyway, I think you get the point. For now, we have the alerts, right? So you just right click, add alert, and price, MA crossing value or price, sorry. So you right click on the actual candle itself, add alert. So XXI crossing, and then you just choose 20 MA right there. And then the alert would come up. So now, because that's the setup, gets up through the 200 and then, it gets extended. So we want to hit it at an MA when it bounces off an MA. So we want to know when it hits the MA. So now, as long as it holds a 20 on the daily, then you pick your spot and go based on your intraday, right? Like this could be, could be set up any better. Now, I'll let this load here. So here's its challenge. It's right into natural resistance. So this is like a lot of the pharmaceuticals and stuff right now. This is what a lot of their charts look like. So there's a resistance zone in here. That kind of looks like that, I would say, roughly, between those two lines. Gert, do you mean on that setup where I was talking about through the 200 and through the whole rise up there? Is that what you mean, or because we've explained this whole setup here in like excruciating detail, like where all your buy signals are through here and sell signals, if that's what you mean. And where you would find that is in our midday reviews on the on YouTube. So yeah, if you know like if you've watched all those midday reviews, and I know they're boring, but what can you do, right? I'm not gifted with entertainment value at all. I know that. I get it. But if you watch all those midday reviews, you'll come out of that, and you'll know exactly where you would buy and sell in here. Okay, so yeah, the videos have explained that. So on the videos, what you'll find is that on the intraday, the way that it works is, so when it gets up over the 200, you go long. Then as you're long, and you'll see it a number of times in the videos, you go to your 60-minute, and when your MAs cross with price underneath, then that's your sell trigger. So you know how they cross the 20 crosses the 200, the 50 crosses the 200, the 100 crosses the 200, and they all get on the right side like they are now, the 20, 50, 100, and 200. So those are buy signals, right? That just confirms. On the hourly, when price drops under the 20 and the 50, and the 20 crosses the 50, so there's nothing at all complicated about that. Like, I raised children, and I know that children at 6 years old could figure that out. And I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just trying to tell you straight out. If you study it, anybody studies what I just said. On the 60-minute chart, so there's not a lot of factors in there. You go to your 60-minute chart, and is my price underneath the 20 and the 50 MA, and has the 20 crossed the 50? That's a sell signal. So the videos do tell you, because I'll tell you why you're getting me backed up a little bit, because I had a lot of pressure for many days, even into weeks. I had a lot of pressure to stop those videos, and I continually for many days said, I'm going to continue these videos. I'm going to continue these videos. I continued them for a long time under a lot of pressure. And you may not understand what that means, but it's not just me involved here. So, my position is always a constant fight, right, against the powers that be. And there are powers that be everywhere, right, in different scenarios. Like, when this enterprise started, there was a lot of powers that be. Let me tell you. I won't go on the rant, but Tesla's alarming. So, chart reviews, yeah, 43 of them. Unfortunately, I mean, it sucks. There's 43 hours in there. Ugh. Masterclass 10 videos. There's more than 10. That's funny. We're missing a few in there. So I don't mind you asking questions. I don't even mind you challenging me, because, like my good friends know, you can challenge me and we can literally have a fist fight and go for a beer at the end of the day. That's my personality type. But at the same time, I do want you to make sure you get this set up, because this is, and I'll just say it really quick, this is the most predictable setup on the market. This is where you'll go from 10K to 1.14 million in 26 months. So you go through the 200 as you're long on the hourly, on the 20 and the 50. are above price. So price is under the 20 and the 50, and the 20s cross the 50. That's your sell signal. So you sell. And then what you do, so now you're up here and you're extended. You set it so that when the price crosses that 20, we get an alarm, and then we can make a decision there. You see how it failed? So when it fails, then what you do is you set it so that when the price crosses the 50, and you see what happened, it bounced. And then we can make a decision in there. And then same thing here, right? And you make the decisions all the way along. And each one of these, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but it is. 138 your decision here, and it gets up, it almost, well, close to, not quite doubles, but 202, 138 to 202. That's a nice bounce. And then here you make the decisions at each one of these MAs. And then we would know, okay, it bounces here. Now look at this, 143 to 2. I mean, that's a double. So, as a trading team with a trading leader that tells you guys this is the most predictable setup on the marketplace. And this isn't just somebody talking. This is back tested. We know this is the most predictable you can have. And this will take you from 10K to 1.14 million in 26 months. Who in their right mind wouldn't do it? So then you say to yourself, well, why didn't we know about this trigger here? Because Kurt's working 90 hours a week. I mean, come on, let's get in it. You guys are a great group. You're smart people. You're fantastic traders. But if you can figure out a way to go from 10K to 1.14 million in less than 26 months, more predictably, more teachable, more easily done, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, how we are actually doing it in the algorithmic modeling side, we're actually going to beat this performance, but we're not there yet. It's not completely modeled out, et cetera, et cetera. And you got to start with teaching people this. Then great, if you figure out something better, great. But until then, you should do this because it'll then you can go off with your high flying ideas, and do what you want. You always got this, right? So anyway, that's my lecture. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be, the guy that makes sure you win. And I like winning. So I moved those lines because I suspect that's basically where the market's going to react to them. So here's, now that we're a little late, we're not late though. See, here's the interesting thing. And you can see now why I do these midday reviews. Yesterday it would have triggered and it would have failed, right? And we would have watched it. So what you do, we're actually not late. I gave you the lecture, not because we're late. I gave you the lecture because we could miss it. And my point is that what you do now is you wait for this day to expire. See, like yesterday, you'd wait for the day to expire. And you notice how price yesterday landed right on that 20. So that's what I'm talking about. So you want it to close above the 20. If it closes above the 20, you got to set up. And over 90% long wins on that setup off the bounce of the MAs. It doesn't always win. So you got to monitor it, right, until it gets going. And you would monitor it anyway. So anyway, that's the setup. So now what do? You got to watch this. You got to alarm it somehow. So there's different ways to alarm it. You can alarm your stock RSI, so that when it curls up, you'd get the alarm. It's curled up now. You could take it out in the weekly and do that. You could alarm your MACD, so that when it curls up, you can alarm your squeeze momentum, so when it turns up, or you can simply alarm price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alarm price, and this will tell me, yeah, I think, Todd, I seen you even alert this a day or two ago. I could be dreaming. Somebody, I think, alerted it a day or two. And so at least, at the very least, we'll have that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this really quick. I don't know what these people do, so, and then if I have time, what I'll do is I'll do some fundamentals on it, right? And I'll actually model it. So then your next step in this process is you know, if we actually believe this could possibly work, and we don't believe based on how we feel about it, we believe based on this actually works. So the setup, I mean. So if the setup actually works now, the less, you know, the smaller the stocks, the less predictable they are. But this is trading pretty decently. Anyway, where I'm going there is what you would do is you would model this next, right? So then, you know, somebody in your trading group would model it. Now, I have the advantage of trading with the same folks, you know, 6 people for the last number of years. And, you know, we've just gotten to know each other, and you just kind of naturally do this kind of thing, because when you're serious about wealth, you know, wealth doesn't happen by fluke. Wealth happens by predictability, predictable deliverable. Like if you sit down with anybody that's extremely wealthy, they don't want it. It looks like risk. It's calculated risk, which means predictable deliverable, right? So I think I've kind of ranted enough about it. So it's not how we feel about this stock at all. It's whether or not it's setting up. So there you go. So now it's on my list. It's on your list. If I had time to model it, I would, but I can't. You guys may want to. Then you're ready for it. Then you don't have to model it on the fly. Like when I was trading AMMJ this morning, I was like, you know, do I have it right? I didn't even know if I had it right because I had to do it so quick. You know, it was a crappy model too, but you know, I got through it. So how do you like that lecture? Holy cow. It's 1:07 p.m. Did I ever lecture? Did I really lecture that long? I did, didn't I? Announcements, my rant, and a lecture. I didn't even get through any charts. Well, look, one of them set up, so I don't have any choice. I got to go through the charts because the nature of these setups is that Gert left his lecture. Sorry, Gert, if you watch this video. CGG. Gert, I'm surprised anybody listens to you. Why? Because you're not nice to them. XXII, that's a decent setup. We got to go through each one here now. On the daily, up against the 100, it's not ready. Okay, where's my setups here? Let's try and pick up the pace. PRTK. Hey Gert, I apologize to you just in case you didn't hear it. PRTK, up over the 200, kaboom. Did we ever figure out if it was more than just the chart setup and a little bit of PR that did that? Huh. That's a really interesting chart. Like super interesting how they got so much lift. XXII sells opiates. Oh yeah, it's right up against resistance. That's a serious bull though. Did I alarm this one? That's the question. I did. Ew, the alarm's off. Possible takeover on PRTK, is that what I'm seeing? Wow. Should I keep clicking? Possible buyout. Thanks, Trace. Anyway, I mean, you guys aren't, of course, you're not obligated to do anything that I say, but the method works. So that makes sense. Possible buyout. But still, you know, it's set up. So it really doesn't matter what the reason is, whether they're selling acid or there's a buyout or it's a loopy algorithm model developer. You know, this, when I was young, this really wealthy guy taught me a really important lesson. Money has no name. That's what he meant. That guy was smart. It took me almost a lifetime to figure out what he meant. ITCI up over the daily. Of course, fundamentals matter though. Keep everything I say in perspective, okay? ITCI daily, almost into its gap. Has some resistance down in there, some over there, some over there. Therapeutics, same crappy story on that resistance. But it is over the 200, correct? Correct. Does that qualify it? It does. Now, sure, you gotta look at all those other indicators, right? Like history, all those things that we've worked through on those charts. But it is set up. I don't have a choice. ITCI, right? Did we alarm it? Beyond, I wonder if I wonder if they're all going to be this way. Wow. Awesome possum. Actually, your real alarm is when that 20 goes through that 100. Or the 200. That's when it gets fun. Just for giggles, I'm going to do this. 20 crossing the 200. Okay, so that's that one. SQNS up against its 100. Oh, what? Oh, right. Ugh. Ugh. This is a setup, but it's tough. Dang it. EXPR. Nope. AMMJ. Nope. RGS. Right against its 200. Regis. Interesting. Everybody thought he was nut. Very crazy. Crazy. It's just nuts. This is crazy. What do you do? CRVS. Up against its 200. Another pharmaceutical. SSW. C-SPAN Corp. Up against its 200. Up against natural resistance too. ABEO. Over its 200. Therapeutics. It's got that resistance point like the rest of them. Right against its natural resistance. Bounced off its 20 today. Interesting. Very interesting. BlackBerry, sure, let's take a look at BlackBerry. Got a ton of respect for that CEO, but that stock sucks. They're lucky they got him, boy. They'd be done long time ago. ABEO. It's gonna finish this and I'll come back to yours, Todd. MRAM. Nope. Oh, it's over the 200. So that's another. No. It's a setup, but it's harder to trade. It's not as predictable, but it's a good setup. MN, no. I mean, they're all setups. It's just a matter of how predictable they are, right? How reproducible, teachable, trainable, probable. Look at that. That 20 got through that 200 and boom. Dang it. It hasn't got the chart history. Dang it. Oh. Okay, this one's going on the watch list too. Well, what do you do here? Not much you can do. Alarm it. Interesting. Wow, these are better charts today. SRTS, BZUN. So what is it bouncing off of? Natural support. Ooh. Squeeze momentum is going down. Stock RSI is going down. MACD is going down. But that tells a different story. So if price crosses that 20, this could go. Descend crossing 20 MA. There's different triggers in there, but it's the one on this particular stock that I would trade. That's BZUN. NGVT. trending stock, perfect for swing trading platforms too. It's just not my thing. SNNA, that last one, it doesn't have history. It's a trending stock. It's not a bull setup. It's a trending stock setup without history. And TRXP. Okay, so that one is it. OTC, nothing familiar I want to look at. As far as washouts are concerned, RTNB, wow. Pets. So is that its post-earnings pop washout? Oh, I haven't looked at this chart for quite a while. I was looking at it as it was coming through the bowl and doing its thing. Look at when it got up out of the bowl here, how far it cracked. Wow, it was at earnings too. Wow. That's interesting. So I'm going to alarm it for when it crosses the 100. When it crosses the, if it crosses the 100, if it crosses the 200. What did I do wrong? Pets crossing 200 MA. Pets crossing 100 MA. Show once. That's 100 MA on the close. Maybe that's why. Did it close last night over the 100 MA? Yeah, it did. That's funny. I just learned something. Oh, we've been talking about pets. Pets crossing. Oh, this isn't going to help me. Well, so I just do a price action. Okay, that's it. And then we got BlackBerry. Bed Bath & Beyond. Good thing I didn't go on a rant for a half an hour about that chart. Oh, I hate this stock. Trader bias, eh? It's just like, look at the way it treats the 200. Like here, see how it comes underneath every time. Here's your problems. It doesn't treat the 200 MA well. However, when it did get up over the 200 here and it came back to test the MA, like the alert that I was telling you we need to have, it gapped up. Comes up here, tests the MA, cruises. Comes back, almost tests the MA, cruises. Gets underneath. So this all works. What doesn't work is your stock RSI has been cruising up for some time here. What, the last 10 or so trading days? And 8. And price hasn't done anything. So that means that the bulls, that's the opposite of the bulls being in it, because if price goes up with the stock RSI going down, the bulls are holding. So that's dangerous. Your MACD, if the bulls were holding, would fly in the middle. But your squeeze momentum indicator is coming up and your MACD is crossed and the stock RSI is going up. Your volume isn't really doing anything either. So it trades very odd. All of those things are odd. They're all peculiar. But technically it's there, isn't it? So, you know, then you get into trader bias. I hate it. But it's, you know, it's technically there. So where would you trade it? Well, you would trade it over, preferably over one of the MAs. And preferably the last MA, which is the 100. But you could try it over the 20. You could try it now. You could try it anytime. I mean, the people that took the trade right at the 200, they're happy right now. 850 to 880. That's decent. Nothing wrong with that. Crossing the 20. I mean, it's been a good trade off the 20. That's a decent return in 2 days. But you have to hit it precise, and there's all kinds of things in there to consider. But yeah, you could hit it over the 20, and then if you get to the 50, you'd want to sell until it confirms over the 50, right? And then you could get into a scenario where the MAs get underneath the price and you get a right ear sidewinder and then you're gone. And that's kind of your play there. It's pretty cool, actually. It's just don't like it, but it's, you know, it's good. It's interesting that the 200 test is right at this gap. Like, you'd have to have huge kahunas to hit that long right there. Really interesting. Yeah. Any others you guys want to look at? Thanks, Todd. I guess I better put BlackBerry on the list, hey? Okay, I think that's it. Unless I missed anything. OMVS, the 20 is close to crossing the 200. So this is important. OMVS. Trading 21.19. That dang stock or squeeze momentum. What's it doing so low? Oh, MACD is turned down. Stock RSI is turning up though. So there's some buyers coming in. You got to be careful with the indicators though on these because the sheriffs will lock them up and those indicators will fool you. It's on natural support. How much was the institutional buy? 200,000. Is that was that an actual institutional that was public, or is that just because there was a big buy? Because they certainly don't have to be institutional for a 200,000 share buy. This it's only $40,000. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to be. It's still a big buy. $40,000 is a big buy. But you know, on our platform, when I'm executing trades now, my trades are always bigger than that. What was the indicator, Tracy, that you were saying the 20 was going to cross the? Are you using TradingView or are you using something else? E-Trade. And you're on the daily, eh? I've never used E-Trade, so I can't even comment on E-Trade. Like I used the same platform since, you know, the day I started trading until recently. Daily 30-minute. Oh, so you're on a 30-minute. So you're on this one, I think. You're on a 30-minute, not a daily. There your MACD's crossing up. Thanks, Todd. What a trooper. Okay, so that's OMVS. Now that we're here, let's take a look at it. One day. There's our daily. It's over the 20. I have no idea what saved it there. What did save it? It's probably going to go from here because it had enough days down that if it was going to drop more, you think it would, but it's hard to say. The jury's still out on this. Because what happens in the markets is you get your basic, you get your basic charting going, and people are like, oh, look at, there's a line here, and there's a line here. Oops, I didn't do that right. But anyway, you get the point, right? They're like, okay, now I need to follow in here. And everybody panics, and then boom, it falls. I wish I could go and look at that DM right now, but I can't. My phone died on me, and I can't use any of the monitors right now, and I can't bring it up on this one. But that's okay. I'll look at it later. Anyway, I may know OMVS very small, but there's oil in its target area, hanging out. Okay, any others you guys want? I think we're good. We got masterclass in 20 minutes, so I gotta take a quick break, and we'll see you then. Thanks.